If you're planning to start your MBA in 2026 and you haven't started anything at all up until this moment, this is a question that is likely to come to your mind. Am I too late? If I start my GMAT or GRE preparation right now, will I be able to take the examination, apply meaningfully? There's a lot of process in the application. You need to complete application essays, you need to get recommendation letters, your resume should be B school ready resume, you need to submit video essays for some schools, do interviews. So multiple steps in the application process itself. And catch deadlines meaningfully and submit a competitive application. At the end of watching this video, you'll have a detailed framework with which you'll be able to evaluate whether you have the wherewithal to do justice to this process starting right now. Do that exercise. If at the end of the exercise you get an answer yes, then we'll also end this video with a study plan that will take you through it, which is a 2-phase study plan. If you get an answer that I'm not too sure, then it probably makes sense to push this entire exercise by a year. You can start next year early on and catch the 2027 MBA program, right? It's not when you started your MBA, it's how well you did it and which school you graduated from, which is going to make a big difference, which is why this entire exercise is what we are going through. Let's get started with this framework. Take these questions and answer them one by one and give as objective an answer as you can as you stand at this point in time for these. Here are these 5 questions that I want you to answer and do one exercise at the end of answering these 5 questions. The first question is, do you have the ability to invest 2 hours each day between now, we are in August, and December, right? The GMAT preparation plus application is anything between 350 and 400 hours. We have give or take 150 days with us. So we'll start with 2 hours a day during weekdays. Check out whether you will be able to consistently, without fail, be able to give this 2 hours each day. The second question is, will you be able to double this time during weekends? On both Saturdays and Sundays, you need to clock in at least 4 hours time, which is when for these 150 days, it's 2 hours each day, makes it 300. We need those extra 50, 60 hours, right? Those come in the form of the additional time that you're going to be clocking during the weekend. That's the second question that I want you to answer. The third question is, have you taken an examination such as the CAT or the XAT or the aptitude examinations for getting into a company? If you have done it in the recent past, it really helps, right? This is not a showstopper, but if you have done that in the last 2-3 years kind of stuff, the muscle memory basically helps you kickstart your preparation and see progress much faster. You're likely to be at an advantage given that you have that muscle memory. This is question number 3. Fourth question, this is again very, very important. Which is the geography that you're targeting, the schools that you want to apply to? We'll break this geography into 3-4 parts, right? The first is, are you planning to apply in India? If it is ISB, well and good, because the final deadlines fall in January. But if you have 5+ years of experience and you plan to apply to the PGPX programs of IIM Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Calcutta, the deadlines fall by the end of November or early December. Chances of catching them is a little remote, which means you need to clock more hours every day, more hours every weekend to do justice to catching that deadline. If it is US, you can catch the deadlines because the round 2 deadlines typically fall in the first and second week of January. You'll have adequate time to do that, right? Third, if you're in Europe, you're looking at Europe, you'll have time. Europe has multiple windows in which you can apply. If it's Asia, NUS, NTU in Singapore, their deadlines fall by February and March, you'll be able to catch them, right? So have this geography in mind. If you're focusing primarily on India, your chances of doing justice for this year's application is a little remote. It's not out of reach, right? That's the fourth question. The fifth question, create a short list, probably a long list of schools that you're likely to be applying to. Have about 10-12 schools in this list. Go to their website, pick up the last year for which they have student profile data and check out what is the median GMAT and what is the median GRE score for all of these schools. Let's say you have a list of 12 schools that is under your consideration. List down these 24 numbers and then check out what is the highest such median score, right? Of all the schools that you looked at, let's say the highest median score ended up being 675. And the highest median GRE score, GMAT score is 675, highest median GRE score ends up being, let's say, 320. Then you know, if the highest median GMAT is 675, you're coming from a competitive applicant pool, a 695 is your target GMAT score. We're setting the target even before we start. And if it is 320, which is the highest median GRE score, then you probably need 323, 3 to 4 points more than that. 20 more points in GMAT, 3 or 4 more points when it comes to GRE, because GRE moves in scales of 1 point, GMAT moves in scales of 10 points. So we got all of these things listed down. I'll give you an example of one of our students last year. The student was moving away from army into civilian life, so was serving notice period and completing exit formalities, which is quite an intense thing. The student was also getting married in the 2-month window starting July to September last year. And the student also wanted to do an MBA, so therefore signed up for GMAT. When you have so many things stacked up on your plate, right, the exit process is intense and you can't postpone it. It's going to happen in that given window. Marriage is very important in someone's life, so those preparation and arrangements you have to take care of. So what do you think gets kind of relegated, or basically you exit in the process? It's basically your GMAT preparation. You might be the primary caregiver for someone who is unwell. In that case, you know that your ability to invest this time consistently is not going to be there. Or you might be looking at sometime in the month of December, a couple of commits that you're going to give for your project, or it's going to be a major delivery which is going to happen there. Or you might be in the travel industry, for which December is going to be the busy season, in which case you should probably not look at that as the time that you're going to be applying seriously. Again, as I mentioned, this is not to discourage you. I don't want you to have false starts, right? The more the false starts that we have, we start doubting our capability. We looked at a few of our students who succeeded, and we also looked at a few of our students who could not achieve what they wanted to do. It's not basically so much of a competence difference between them. In fact, people who probably did not get through had higher competence as they started in terms of the scores that they had in their diagnostic test. It is basically that they started off at inopportune moments and could not see it through the end. So it's not whether you can do, it's a question of when you can do. And I want you to do these exercises carefully. Now that you have framework of these 5 things, I said I want you to do one more exercise. And that exercise is basically go and take one free GMAT test available at the official website, mba.com. It's a 2-hour, 15-minute test. Take that test. Similarly, go to ets.org. They have a full-length GRE test. Take one test, right? Both of them have 2 free tests. Take one each and note down your score. Why is this important? We noted down the highest median GMAT score. Let's say that number is 675 and we said you have to set a target of 695. If the test that you took right now left you with a score which is 545 or more, a 150 point bridge is something, a gap is something that you can easily bridge in the next 3-4 months when it comes to GMAT. In the GRE, if the score that you had is 320 as the highest median score, then let's say you need to score a 323. A 15 point is a gap that you can bridge in this window. So if you manage to score 308 in the very first test without any preparation, you will be able to bridge the gap and do justice to it. So quickly recap what we discussed. There are 5 questions for which I wanted you to answer. Can you invest 2 hours regularly and you don't have a tight schedule during end November, December, right? Have clarity on that. You'll be able to double the time during weekend. So that you're able to give 4 hours each day on Saturday and Sunday. Have you taken an examination of this kind? So the muscle memory comes to your aid. Which geography are you applying to? If it is Europe, Asia, US, you're better off. If it's primarily India, it's a tough ask in this window. And then compute the highest median GMAT and the highest median GRE score. If when you took both these tests, you realize that you got more score in GRE, GRE as a score is accepted by almost all business schools. Stanford, about 30 to 35% of the students who got in last year went with the GRE score. In the case of Harvard, it was a similar number, 30 to 40%. So it's no longer a minimal 5 or 8%. A good chunk of students join business schools with GRE. So if you realize that GRE is a test that you're well equipped to crack, then prepare for the GRE. Conversely, if you realize that the GMAT testing format, the GMAT score is what was higher for you when you took this one test, right? Then basically start your GMAT preparation and get going in that process. The first phase starts sometime around the 15th of August and goes on till the end of November. This is the phase in which you invest 80% of your time focusing on the test. It could be GMAT or GRE. Only one test that you're going to be focusing on. Choose that early on. 20% is what you focus on the application process. Let's focus on the 80% right now and then look at the 20% toward the end of this phase 1 discussion. In this, between August 15th and October 15th, join a class, right? Or take up an online course, live online classes, personal tutoring, physical classes, recorded course. Pick something. Don't try to do preparation on your own from free resources available in various forums. The GMAT preparation is too crucial and you don't have a long enough window that it's too risky to leave it to chance. Any of these programs that you join is going to walk you through in a structured fashion that they'll give you everything that you need without you missing out on anything. Do demo classes, do trial sessions, check out what works best for you and get started by August 15th. August 15th to October 15th, cover the basics, do the basic practice questions. Between October 15th and November 10th, do all the section tests. You'll be doing tests in verbal, doing tests only in quant, doing tests only in data insights if we are talking about GMAT, right? Write essays for AWA if it is the case of GRE. So do the section-wise things and topic-wise things for them, tests on these till November 10th. November 10th to November 25th, take 6 mock tests. If it's GMAT, MBA.com provides you 6 tests, 4 of them are paid. You'll get similar numbers from GRE and your test preparation company is also going to provide you with mocks. Minimum of 6 mocks is what you're going to be taking. That will take you anything between 3 to 4 weeks. If that score, if your target score is 695, if in at least 2 to 3 of the tests, you scored a 695 plus, then you know you're ready to take the GMAT. When it comes to GRE, if your target score is 323, in 2 to 3 tests, if you scored a 323 or a 325, then you know you're ready to take the GRE. Take the test by the end of November, and then you're set to phase 2. One important thing, at the end of taking this test in November, note that you should have got the score that you wanted. If it's a 695 is your target, if you got 695, then move to phase 2. If it's a 323 that is the target, if you got a 323, then move to phase 2. Otherwise, retake the examination 15 to 21 days down the line, and then catch the deadlines that are still available. So this is what is a timeline for phase 1. And in this, there's a second component which I mentioned, which is the application component. Application essentially entails few things. One, getting your resume ready, getting the application essays ready, and getting your recommenders primed, right? Identify who are going to be recommenders. You'll need 2 recommenders per school. Typically, students apply between 6 and 7 schools. We're talking about give or take 15 recommendations is what you need to get. 7 to 8 from each person is what we are having. Sometimes your people are going to recommend you immediate boss. You may not be able to get it. You may have to look at from an earlier boss or an earlier company where you worked. So get in touch with them. Tell them what it is that you're expecting from them, both in terms of workload and in terms of time commitment. It is intense. Get their buy-in for it and identify who those people are. This is something that you can do in the process of preparing for your GMAT or GRE, right? So you're going to be talking to them, you're going to be telling them what is going to happen, right? Second thing, attend webinars of schools that will give you an idea about, is this a school that's going to make sense to me? We always think that we apply and the schools should select us. It's equally important that you need to realize, is that school a fit for me? Is it going to help me meet my career and life objectives, right? So attend the webinars that will give you those answers. Go to MBA tours. QS has an MBA tour, GMAT has this MBA tour. So those are the places where you can meet the admissions team of many schools in one place. These will help you interact and get clarity on narrowing down from the 12 schools that we initially talked about to about 7 or 8 schools that you want to apply to. And lastly, this is again very important. Much as I mentioned that sign up for a class and do your GMAT preparation, if I were you, and I'm taking this application process seriously, I will also sign up with a consultant for my application process. It's sometimes expensive, but the whole point is the application component entails multiple things. There are facts about you, which is essentially your GMAT score, undergraduate score, where you worked, the likes. And there is something called the presentation packaging of that. And that makes a big difference. And the consultants are very well equipped to doing that because they've been doing it time and again. So speak to a few consultants. Check out with whom you're able to buy well, because the personal connect is very important to do justice to get a very good application packet out. But do this, don't yet sign up with anyone. If by the end of November when you take these tests, the test score is up to what you expected, that is the time you start paying the first dollar to any of this application process. Right? So these are all the things that you do in the 20% component. Let's move to phase 2. You got the GMAT score or the GRE score that you wanted. Now sign up with a consultant. Get started with your essays. There's one other thing that you can possibly do in phase 1 itself. The 8 or 9 schools which you've brought down from the 12, take up an account in their application portal. Look at what questions have they asked in their essays. Is it about leadership? Is it about ethics? Don't even write a single word for them in terms of writing an essay. Basically ruminate about it, right? Get an idea about, hey, this is an incident that happened in my life that I can basically use it here. This is what I can use it for that. Jot down those things in your notepad. It could be a digital notepad or a physical notepad. So when you're actually beginning to write your essays in phase 2, this becomes a laundry list of things from which you can draw, pick and choose things that you can write. You can also collect collaterals during phase 1 itself, right? You did something, you would want your ex-boss to appreciate. See if you can ask the ex-boss to give you an email in support of that. So those collaterals also help you finally. Phase 2 started. Phase 2 is going to be extremely intense. You need to invest 3 to 4 hours each day and probably 8 to 12 hours during the weekend, during the month of December. Interact with your consultant. Your application essays go back and forth, and it will take you easily about 5 to 6 rounds before you get the essay that you like, that you would want to present. This is also the phase where you'll crucially go to the 2 recommenders. You'll have multiple aspects of you. You may not want both the recommenders to talk about the same single aspect. You wouldn't want both of them saying that, hey, Baskar is a diligent guy. You would want in one place someone saying Baskar is a diligent guy, and in another case someone saying that Baskar has got good analytical capability, right? So that is what we are looking at. So you don't tell them what they need to write. You recall incidences that you have worked with them and what they could highlight, give you a resume to them and tell them, hey, these are the things I would like you to highlight. Don't ever write the recommendation letter on their behalf. Give them points, narrate things about you that you worked with them, that they can write a recommendation letter in their own words using these inputs. This also takes time. You need to invest time with them and kind of get them prepped for it. If all of these go well, by the 3rd week of December, you should be ready to send your first application in. From that point forward, every additional application should not take you more than 2 days. So by January 1st week or the 10th of January, you should be able to apply to 6 to 8 schools. So this is what you are setting yourself up for. As I initially said, this video is not about encouraging you, saying, hey, you can do it. Nor is it a video which is saying that, discouraging you, saying that you're probably too late. I want you to evaluate based on the framework that I provided. And if you get an answer yes, and you know that you can do justice to it, jump right into it and do justice to it. You'll come out of it in flying colors. But if you realize that there are things that are likely to happen in your life which may not allow you to invest that kind of time and energy, then a false start is something that you would want to avoid. If you're looking to start your GMAT preparation at the end of all of this exercise, Wizako provides live online classes. That's what I would seriously recommend given this short window. I take DS classes, Vishwa handles math, Shweta was scored a 780 and got 100% scholarship in USC. She handles the entire verbal and the rest of the DA other than DS. Take a demo class with us, wzko.in/demo. And then if you like our teaching style and if you think we can work with you with your GMAT, sign up and then get going. Best wishes.